Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is July 15th, 2024, and Ronald Araujo will have to undergo surgery due to the injury that he received in the Copa America. Also, the Juvenil A have a new coach, and finally, Hansi Flick is set to have a conversation with Gundogan in regards to his future. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News live podcast where not only do I get to share Barcelona news with you, but I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering any question, and getting the discussion going. For those of you who'll be watching when the live stream ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline in case you do want to skip through that discussion. Now, having said all that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or any kits from any teams, including clubs and international teams, and even retro kits, make sure to go to Goal Kits. It's Barca News' new partner, Goal Kits. I will have a link in the description. You can get a jersey from any club, any international team around the world, including retro kits. Right now, they have a special offer where if you use my link, you get 12% discount. And also, if you buy 4 jerseys, the 4th one is free. Or I guess if you buy 3 jerseys, the 4th one is free. So make sure you check it out. And of course, if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you head to Bet Us. Now, having said all of that, let's dive right into the news. I know I'm a little bit late. Seems that there's a problem with my streaming software. I use StreamYard, and it's not letting me upload any of my slides. So, the pictures that I always use, it's not letting me upload that. I've said it a million times. Guys, if any of you are ever considering in streaming, do not use StreamYard. StreamYard is trash. I've had nothing but problems with it. Unfortunately, I paid a 1-year subscription. I think it's set to expire next month, if I'm not mistaken. Once it's expired, that's it. I'm not renewing it. I'm looking for new software, but StreamYard, stay away from it. It's nothing but problems. But anyways, let's start with the news. As you can see, I am wearing the Argentina jersey, and that's to celebrate Argentina's win in the Copa America. And yesterday, they defeated Colombia 1-0 thanks to goal of Lautaro Martinez during the final moments of the extra half. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, our GOAT, Lionel Messi, the greatest ever, has now lifted 4 international trophies in the last 3 years. He has lifted 2 Copa Americas, a World Cup, and a Finalissima. Now, this was a record Copa America win for Argentina. This is the 16th Copa America they have won in this tournament that's over 100 years old, the oldest international tournament in the history of football. So that was their 16th Copa America. It's a record 16th trophy. It's also a record because they're the only team to win 2 Copa Americas back-to-back with a World Cup sandwiched in between. And finally, with this win, Argentina have matched what Spain were able to do back in 2008, 10, and 12, where Spain won the Euros in 2008. Followed by the World Cup 2010, then Euros again in 2012. Well, now Argentina have done exactly the same, where they have won a Copa America, followed by a World Cup, followed by another Copa America. So congratulations to our GOAT, Lionel Messi, who gets to lift his 4th international trophy in 3 years. He is now officially the most decorated football player in the history. He was initially tied with Dani Alves at 44 trophies, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but now the GOAT has 45 trophies. The most decorated athlete in the history of football. Absolutely amazing milestone for Lionel Messi. So congratulations to our GOAT. And by the way, speaking of this win, now, since Lionel Messi will be has won the Copa America, now Argentina will go off to face off against Lamine Yamal Spain. As I mentioned, Lionel Messi won the Finalissima. If you don't know what the Finalissima is, it's a trophy that was invented in 2022, which is the winner of the Copa America versus the winner of the Euros. As you might recall, we used to have a Confederations Cup where the winners of all the different confederations, so the winners of Copa America, the winners of the Euros, the African Cup, Asian Cup, etc., would all meet in a small tournament that was usually organized 1 year before the World Cup, kind of to determine like the winner of all winners from confederations. That was canceled. So the Finalissima kind of took its place. The first edition was in 2022, where Argentina, the Copa America winners, played against Italy, which were the Euro champions at the time. Argentina won 3-0. And well, now we have the Finalissima 2025. Is going to be again 1 year before the World Cup, where Lionel Messi's Argentina will face off against Lamine Yamal Spain. And I have to say, I'm really, really excited for this match. It's kind of be that match that symbolizes, Messi passing off the baton to Lamine Yamal. We saw that picture of Messi baptizing Lamine Yamal. That picture was taken back when Messi was 19 years old and Lamine was a baby. And I guess this will be the official football baptism, as Messi will pass on the baton to Lamine Yamal. We don't know where the match is going to be at yet. They're saying it might be in the U.S., but we do know that it's going to be in 2025 before the World Cup, a year before the World Cup. So I have to say, I'm very, very excited. I wish to see Lionel Messi lift another trophy. That'd be really cool. But having seen both teams play in this tournament, I think Spain most likely going to defeat Argentina. But I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts. So let me know in the comment section. Who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be Argentina's, Lionel Messi's Argentina, or is it going to be Lamine Yamal's Spain? And speaking of the two, check out this pretty cool ad that Adidas posted. The GOAT, with kind of like the older GOAT standing on the number 10 podium. Of course, that's in symbolism to Lionel Messi, and the baby GOAT with the number 19, which of course represents Lamine Yamal. We know that both of them are represented by Adidas. They're both sponsored by Adidas. Lionel Messi, of course, was the face of Adidas for the longest time. Now Adidas have signed Lamine. They're kind of hoping to be the future face of Adidas once Messi retires. But I thought it was a pretty cool ad, baby GOAT and dad GOAT, or senior GOAT, whatever you want to call it. But really, really cool ad by Adidas to symbolize kind of the future, or I'm sorry, the past and the present / future. Really cool. And again, I do want to hear you guys' thoughts about the Finalissima. So please let me know. By the way, yesterday's match was delayed by an hour and a half because it seems that Colombian fans showed up to the stadium, didn't have tickets, stormed the gates, were fighting security guards. They were climbing walls to get into the stadium. They were climbing through AC vents. They caused all kinds of destruction in the stadium. A lot of the fans that didn't have tickets sat in seats that weren't theirs. And when the people who did have tickets for those seats showed up, they wouldn't move. Police had to get involved. The stadium had to be locked down. It was a total mess. And I have to say, this organization of the Copa America was totally disappointing. I was very happy when it was announced that Copa America will be here in the U.S. because, I was like, oh, I'm going to get to see matches, which I did. But I think between the state of the pitches or the fields, which was absolutely horrible because all these stadiums are American football stadiums where it's played on turf, not grass. And what they did, instead of removing the turf and installing grass, they just brought a layer of grass and they laid it on top of the turf. So players were slip and sliding when they would step, like the grass would just like a big chunk would come out, or the grass would kind of like dip, like it was mud. It was uneven. The ball would you would pass the ball and the ball would be bouncing. Security was awful. The tickets were ridiculously expensive. I think the cheapest ticket to the final was $2,000. It was an absolute mess. Very disappointing. But I really hope that this was a test run, or at least a lesson to the U.S., because we do have the World Cup in 2026. And if the World Cup is any repeat of this mess that this Copa America was, it's going to be a bigger mess. It's going to be way magnified because World Cup is, 10 times bigger than the Copa America. So I really hope they get their act together because this was an absolute disaster. But anyways, let's dive into the chat, into the comment section. Let's see what you guys are saying. And then we will discuss the next bit of news, which is Araujo's injury and the confirmation of the Gamper trophy. All right, let's see. What is everyone saying? All right. Arnold says, "Hi Mo, do you think we should keep Ansu Fati since he's impressing Flick during trainings, or should we loan him out to give Yamal the number 10 shirt? If Ansu stays, what shirt number do you see Yamal with?" Good question. Would I keep Lamine Yamal? I'm sorry, Ansu Fati. Yes, I would. For two reasons. The first reason is, as I've said before, I truly believe that Ansu Fati will eventually recover from his injuries. Ansu Fati's skills and talent is, I think it's no secret. We all know how talented he is. We all saw what he was capable of doing at 18 years old. He was starting for Barcelona. He was scoring goals. He was a big headache for defenses. We know that he's talented. We know that he's skilled. We know that he knows how to play the Barca style because he came up through the academy. The only problem is his injuries. But I believe that he will eventually overcome his injuries. We can't forget that Ansu Fati is still young. His body's still developing. He's still growing. His muscles are still getting stronger and stronger. His ligaments are still getting developing. I think he will eventually overcome his injuries. And the second, so that's the first reason. The second reason why I would keep Ansu, because look, the priority is obviously Nico Williams. And most likely we're going to sign Nico Williams. But we're still going to need a substitute for Nico and for Lamine on the wings. And Barcelona are not going to spend big money on a substitute. They're going to try to bring someone low cost, some random guy to be the substitute. And between signing some random player for low, I would rather have to keep Ansu Fati, who's from the academy, who knows how to play in Barca, who's very skilled, who's very talented, who loves the club, who's very dedicated. So I would be in favor of keeping Ansu Fati. All right, Carla says, "Hey Mo, appreciate your content. I love that Flick is emphasizing for Barca to be fit. On Instagram, Lewy's looking as buff as his Bundesliga day." To be fair to Lewy, he's always looked as buff as his Bundesliga days. I think maybe now people are noticing it more because Flick is in the back of their mind that he's, making the team more fit. But I don't think Lewy's condition ever dipped. I think Lewy has always been a monster. He's always been a beast. The reason for that is his wife is a nutritionist and also a fitness coach. So his wife helps him a lot, staying fit and eat healthy, etc. He always credits his wife for his amazing physical state. I mean, he is 36, 37, and he looks like an absolute bull. I mean, if I can look half as good at that age, I'd count myself blessed. But as far as being fit, yes, I do like that Hansi Flick is emphasizing fitness and conditioning because the team definitely lacked that. But I'll say this. I think a lot of people are getting too caught up in the whole conditioning because that's not the answer to our problems. It is going to help. That's part of the problem, but it's not the only problem. I think a big problem that Barcelona faced is that we had no structure. The team had no structure to play under. The team did not know what to do, what they were supposed to do, what kind of identity they had, what kind of game style they had. It was kind of just 11 players improvising on the field with no structure on what to do. That was the main problem. If we don't fix that problem, our problems are not going to go away. You can have the most fit players in the world. You can have players that can run top speed for 900 minutes back-to-back, no breaks, no halftime, nothing. It doesn't matter because if there's no structure in place, those players are just going to be running back and forth like headless chickens. So yes, it's going to be very helpful to get the team more in shape, but that's not our only issue, and definitely not our main issue. Our main issue is that the team had no identity and no structure of how to play, how to attack, how to defend, etc. And we have our first donation. Let's see what our first donor says. The Angry Sparky looks like so far he is committed to his name. Says, "Finally made it back to podcast. Work has been absolutely nuts for the last 2 weeks. Glad I made it. We need to sign Nico Williams. Please hope all is well on your end, bro. I'm just chilling on the porch drinking a brewski." All right. I hope you're enjoying that brewski. I'm over here enjoying my mate since, that's good stuff right there. Since Argentina won, I have to celebrate Argentina. But thank you for your donation, my friend. I hope you get some relaxing time since work has been busy. I imagine the summers are always busy for electricians. And I hope you enjoy your beer. And thank you for your donation. And Choo, my man, I haven't seen Choo in a while in the podcast. He says, "Hello, Mo. Been a while. Nico Balde on the left wing. Lord help us, star RBs." Oh, man. Nico and Balde on the left will be insane. We're going to have to figure out a way where they don't get into each other's way because, they're both pretty deep. they go pretty deep. Maybe if Balde can keep just going on the flank while have Nico cut in, I think that'd be amazing. But the two of them on the left is definitely they're gonna do some damage. Anyways, let's get back to the news and let me share my screen again. Since again, I was having a problem with this software that wouldn't let me insert my slides. So I guess we're doing screen shares. But let's talk about Ronald Araujo, because the Uruguayan defender will have to undergo surgery. Now, we know that Araujo picked up an injury in Copa America. It was against Brazil. They did some medical tests. They found out that he had a rupture in his muscle, and they said he was going to be, I think it was 6 weeks, the initial prognostic. But now they have done more in-depth exams, and it seems that the rupture that he's had in his muscle in his left leg is much bigger than initially thought, and as such, he will have to undergo surgery. Now, this is bad news because whenever surgery is involved, we're talking about a big absence from the field. Surgery is not something they can just recover overnight or even after a few weeks. So now it's gone from, he's going to be out for 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks. He's going to be out 4 months. 4 months. Very long time not to have Araujo. So that means he's not going to be back till November, maybe until he's fully fit to play matches. We're talking about December. So that pretty much he will miss not only the preseason, but the first half of the upcoming season. And the decision has been taken. Araujo has decided that, yes, he will undergo the surgery. He has listened to his doctor. So this will happen. This is not if Araujo gets the surgery, then he'll be out for months. No, this is for sure. Araujo will be out for 4 months. He will undergo surgery. And this is a big problem. Now, as I reported in a previous video, Araujo's agent was supposed to travel to Barcelona this past weekend, yesterday or the day before, in order to meet with Barcelona to communicate his decision on whether he's going to renew with the club or he's going to end up leaving. It looks like the agent canceled his trip. So the agent has not traveled to Barcelona. So it looks like Barcelona are going to have to wait a little bit longer to see what Araujo will do. Now, I have to say, the whole Araujo thing is becoming a little bit annoying. We know that Barcelona sent him the contract renewal several months ago. He kept saying, yeah, he's happy, he wants to stay, but he wasn't really responding to the renewal offer. Then he changed his stance from, yes, I'm happy, I want to stay, to, oh, yes, I'm happy, but we're going to see. So not really closing the door on his departure. And now, oh, my agent's going to come talk to you. No, my agent is canceling. No, I got to undergo surgery. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. We'll see if the agent will now finally pick up the phone, because guess what? All those clubs that were after Araujo, all those clubs that were offering Araujo a lot more money, that's not going to happen. Manchester United already withdrew. The only club left was Bayern, and I don't see Bayern spending 100 million on a player that's going to undergo surgery, is going to be out for 4 months, and that you don't know how he's going to recover from that surgery. Hopefully he recovers perfectly normal and he goes back to his old self. But right now, the only club that Araujo has left, the only club that will have his back, is the same club that he turned his back against. So let this be a lesson to Araujo that don't be ungrateful for the club, because last season Araujo did not have a great season, and yet Barcelona still insisted on renewing his contract. They gave him a fair offer, in my opinion. And, he decided to have his agent go all around Europe offering him, try to put pressure on Barcelona to offer him more money. And now all those clubs are going to turn his back on him because he got injured, except Barcelona. So we'll see if the agent picks up the phone pretty soon and see what he says. And hopefully we wish Araujo a speedy recovery. Now, one more thing we'll do in this because it was a little bit of news, but the Gamper Trophy has been officially announced. As I told you, it was being speculated that it was going to be on August 12th. Well, this has now been officially confirmed by FC Barcelona. The Gamper Trophy, or the Gamper Trophy, will be on August the 12th, and it will be against the Ligue 1 club Monaco. This will be the 59th edition of the Gamper Trophy. This will be the first time that Monaco are participating in this trophy. Of course, it will be held at Olympic Stadium in Montjuic, and of course, it will feature the official presentation of the squad And they're also calling it the Gamper Fest because it's not just going to be a match. They're going to have, music and food and activities outside the stadium before it begins, before the match begins. It's kind of part of the whole effort of Barcelona to kind of generate more connection with the community. I talked about that several weeks ago, that Barcelona were going to do that at the new Camp Nou, where before matches, they're going to have DJs and bands playing live music and food and games for the kids, and kind of like a little fest or a little carnival outside the stadium before every match. It looks like they're going to do that with the Jan Gamper trophy at the Olympic Stadium. Anyways, let's get back to the chat section, and then we will talk about the new coach of, ladies and gentlemen, Juvenil A. All right, and we have 2 more donations. Let's see. Sampana says, speedy recovery to Ronald Araujo. Yes, hopefully the surgery goes well. Hopefully he recovers fast, and hopefully, he can go back to his normal self and doesn't, come back from the from his injury, a weaker or something like that, the way it happened with Ansu Fati. And Chuchu with the second donation of the day says, I said this last year, make money off Araujo, 100 million gone, my opinion. Nobody's going to give you 100 million because Araujo's now injured. No one's going to pay 100 million for a player that's going to be out for 4 months. That means entire first half of the season. So that's not going to happen. All right, let's see. More comments. Let's see what you guys are saying. Sampana says, yesterday was so good, and now the Finalissima going to be crazy because both teams play amazing. Yes, definitely. It's going to be a great game, especially to see Messi facing off against Lamine Yamal. I think it'll be really cool. I can't wait to see the match. And like I said, hopefully Messi can lift another trophy, but the way Spain are playing, and then we're talking about next year. By next year, the Spanish team will have even more time playing together. The young players like Lamine, like Nico Williams would have had, even more time together. So I think they're going to be even better. But yeah, we'll see. Anyways, let's see. Zach says, hey, Mo, Paredes looked really good. Saw it in the final. Could be a great DM backup for Barca. Barcelona I think he offered himself. Yeah, he offered himself a few weeks ago. I'm not a big fan of bringing players who are already in their 30s towards their end of their career, where they're looking for one last big contract, especially players who have won it all, because, when their hunger is gone, they're just looking to just one big contract, finish their career, kind of sail into the sunset. I'd much rather that we sign a young, or at least a young DM, or, well, we're not even looking for a DM, but a young midfielder, and someone who, is more hungry to win trophies, who wants to come prove himself, or at least someone in their prime. But I don't know about players towards the end of their career. Another problem with players towards the end of their career is that you cannot amortize them. All the money you're going to spend on them, you cannot amortize it, because their value is only going to keep going down and down and down because they're past their prime. So I don't know. I'm not too sold on that. And then he says, with Araujo till December or so, what do you think is the plan, Mo? Does Koundé move in center back? Do Cubarsí and Christensen take the reins as the center backs as well as Inigo and Fai? What's plan with Cancelo? Cancelo's looking less and less likely that he's going to be coming to Barcelona. I think the plan is going to be probably Christensen and Cubarsí. I'm sure Inigo Martinez will be in the mix, and Mika Fai as well. So I think we're covered. As far as Koundé, I think Flick will want to keep Koundé in the right back position, because we've seen that he's done an amazing job last season. He's done an amazing job in the Euros. To me, he was the best right back in the entire competition. We saw him going against some pretty tough competition like Doku, like Nico Williams, like a lot of other skilled wingers, and he came out on top every time. So I think Flick will probably want to keep Koundé on that right back position. Not the Gamer says, from a league perspective, if you break into a stadium like the fans yesterday, what can the owner stadium people do to you? Well, you don't even have to worry about the stadiums of the owners of the stadium, because trespassing into a private property, that's a crime. That's you could get jail time, fines. Which, by the way, they've already had arrests. I think like 41 people have been arrested, or something like that. One of them, by the way, I was just reading, one of the people arrested was the president of the Colombian Football Federation and his son. Yes, the president of the Colombian Football Federation was arrested with his son because they were fighting security inside the stadium. My God, if you're the president of the federation and you're doing this kind of crap, no wonder your fans were acting up like that. I mean, what kind of example are you setting? But anyways. Alex says, Mo, Nico Williams is the one against Kyle, in the 1-against-1 against Kyle Walker. He was not passing. He was not succeeding. He was running away from his left wing to Yamal's right wing. Please try to answer me. What's the question? I can't answer a statement. All right, let's see. Sundar says, hey, Mo, we need to sell Frankie, Rafinha, and Araujo and need to buy Nico, Kimmich, and Frimpong. Frankie and Rafinha are not leaving. Araujo, nobody's going to touch him with his injury. Nico Williams, that's the plan. Kimmich is probably not going to happen. He wants too much money. And Frimpong will only be signed if there's leftover money to sign Frimpong because he's not a priority. And, I don't think that's going to happen. Twister says, hi, Mo. If we happen to let Gundo leave, what are our options in the mid looking at the shortage in this area? Would there be a replacement? All right, let's talk about Gundo. Actually, no, let's not talk about Gundo. First, we got to talk about the new coach of the Juvenil A, and it's no other than Juliano Belletti. If you don't know who Juliano Belletti is, he's a Brazilian player. He's a former Barcelona player. In fact, he's the guy who scored the goal in the final of the Champions League, which gave us our second Champions League, our 2nd out of 5 Champions League. Juliano Belletti, who was the assistant coach for the Juvenil A last season up until Christmas. After Christmas, and I announced this on the channel, he got promoted to Barca Athletic. He became the assistant coach of Rafa Marquez. So he's been at the club for an entire season, half of the season as an assistant coach to Juvenil A, the second half to Barca Athletic. And well, now Juliano Belletti will officially become the Juvenil A coach after the former Juvenil A coach, Oscar Lopez, decided to leave the club after 6 years. So hopefully it goes well. Hopefully we can uncover another talented coach. With Rafa Marquez, I know some people, when he was first hired, people were complaining. They're like, oh, another former player. They're just doing it to give it to as a favor, blah, blah, blah. And now Rafa Marquez has proven himself as to be not only a great coach, but a great talent shaper, if you want to call him that. Hopefully Juliano Belletti turns out to be the same, but we'll have to wait and see. But let's wish Juliano Belletti good luck as the Juvenil coach. And speaking of coaches, we do have to talk about one more coach because a lot of people have been asking me, Mo, what's going on with Thiago Alcantara? Why has he not been officially announced? Well, it looks like Barcelona are still working on his contract. We know that Flick wants Thiago Alcantara to join his staff on a permanent basis. Thiago Alcantara is being hesitant at the beginning. He wants to take some time off. He just announced his retirement from football. He wants to spend some time with his family. So Barcelona are still in talks with Thiago Alcantara. We know that he has joined Hansi Flick's staff. As you can see from the screen, this was a picture that was caught by a reporter a few days ago that shows Thiago Alcantara present at all the trainings. Of course, Barcelona are denying this. Barcelona announced Hansi Flick's official staff. Thiago Alcantara was not amongst them. They're keeping this under wraps. But we know that Thiago Alcantara has been present at the trainings during the preseason. We know that he has joined Flick's staff on a temporary basis. And the reason why Barcelona haven't said anything is because, again, they're still working on trying to convince them to stay a little bit longer. Once it's all been defined, once they know how long Alcantara is going to be staying, once the contract has been negotiated, signed, etc., then Barcelona will officially announce the incorporation of Thiago into Flick's staff. But for now, they're keeping it under wraps because they don't know how long he's going to stay. Again, Flick wanted him to stay on a permanent basis, while Alcantara wanted to stay only maybe for a few days or a few weeks at tops. All right, let's get back to the chat section. Let's see. I think we have another donation. All right. Anthony Berdugo says, who's your vote and who deserves the Ballon d'Or? Ooh, that's a tough one. I think it's going to have to be someone from Madrid. As painful as it is to say, because, they did win the Champions League. They did win La Liga. I would give it to Vini. again, as much as it pains me to say this, he's an absolute clown. I think great player. Personally speaking, he's a clown. I'm not going to say anymore. I think it's going to have to be Vinny. I mean, it could be Jude Bellingham, but the thing about Jude Bellingham is he started out pretty strong during the first half of the season, and then he kind of dipped towards the second, where Vinny was a little bit more consistent with his performance throughout the season. I can't think anyone else. Mbappe didn't really do much. Haaland, I mean, he won the Premier. Did they win the Premier? They won the Premier, right? But, you know, they fell in the Champions League. Some people are saying Messi, but Messi's playing in the MLS. Plus, he didn't really do much in the Copa America. Some people are saying Lamine. I think it's too early for Lamine. So I think it would have to be Vinny. But this is going to be one of those Ballon d'Ors where you're like, all right, whatever. Like, just give it to anyone. Everybody sucks anyway. You know, kind of like those. But I don't know. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Who would you give the Ballon d'Or to? And Mustafa says, hey, Mo, thank you for all you do. Visca Barca. No, thank you, my friend, for your donation and for your support. Let's do a few more comments, and then we'll do the last bit of news, which is about Gundogan. Barra says, hey, Mo, what's the right back situation? Frimpong, Arnau, Cancelo, Cafu. I wish it was Cafu. Cafu in his primes would be great. The right back right now is that, as I reported in yesterday's video, is that Flick right now values Jules Koundé as a right back over Cancelo. So Barcelona will wait until the final days of the market for Cancelo. If they can take him on loan, great. If not, they're not gonna go all out for him. Cancelo's not a priority. Flick doesn't care if he has him or not. So it's gonna be kind of like a waiting situation. If the last days of the market come and Cancelo's still not signed and Manchester City get desperate and the player gets desperate, then sure, Barcelona will sign him for another season loan. If not, he most likely will end up somewhere else, which is looking more and more likely that's what's going to happen because City want a permanent transfer. Barcelona are not willing to pay for it. As far as Frimpong, that's Flick's number one option if Barcelona were to sign a right back. But again, that's a big if. For that to happen is that, you know, we would have to finish the Nike deal, finish the Barca Vision deal, achieve the 1-1, register all the players we need to register, sign Nico Williams and register him, sign a midfielder and register him, and then if we still have money left, we still have space on our wage bill left, then Barcelona would consider going after Frimpong. So he's not a priority either. He's kind of a last, kind of, you know, something, a luxury, I guess. If we can have him, great. If not, oh well. As far as Arnau, he was kind of being considered as a low-cost option, but I don't see it happening. And that's it. That's it. All right, one more, and then we will talk about Gundo. But Nima says, hey, man, how do you think Araujo's injury will affect his future at Barca? Do you see him leaving for free at all? I think now that, and again, this is all speculation. We can never know for sure. But I think now with his injury, the agent's going to have no other choice but to call and accept the renewal offer because now they lost leverage, right? Before, he had all these clubs after him offering, 80, 100 million to Barca, offering Araujo double the salary. So they had plenty of leverage to do whatever they wanted, to say, oh, okay, we're staying, but you got to offer us more because we have better deals, or we're leaving, or whatever. Now all those deals are going to go poof. So now they're going to have to turn around with their tail between their legs and say, sorry, please take us back. I think that's what's going to happen. Anyways, let's do the last bit of news, and then we will do more comments and end the live stream. But let's talk about Ilkay Gundogan, because it's reported that Hansi Flick is set to meet with the German-Turkish midfielder in order to discuss his future. Now, Hansi Flick, or Barcelona, want Hansi Flick to sit down with Gundogan, have a serious conversation face-to-face on what's going to happen with the future of the player. They want to know, where does the player stand? Does he want to stay? Does he want to leave? There were talks about him going back to playing in Turkey. We know that that's where he wants to retire. We know that Turkey were thinking of signing him. I think it was Besiktas, Galatasaray, or one of those freaking clubs. But anyways, so Flick wants to sit down and see where does Gundogan stand. Now, why does Barcelona want to do this? For two reasons. The first reason is they're saying that Gundogan under Flick's scheme might not be as important next season. Because we know that both Flick and the club believe that Barcelona's midfield lacks a lot of intensity, especially in the ball recovery. We know that Flick likes to high press. When his team loses the ball, he wants his player immediately to pressure and get the ball back. That has been lacking in Barcelona. And given Gundogan's age, and given that he's more of an offensive midfielder rather than a defensive one, they see him as perhaps not being able to fulfill what Flick is going to require of him as much, especially because of his age. Again, it's kind of like the problem with Messi, right? Messi in attack, you give him the ball, he can still do magic. He can still score goals. He can still do some crazy assists. But when it comes to recovering the ball, Messi never participates. He just stays walking while his teammates do it because at that age, you just don't have the energy to be running back and forth. So they're saying that Gundogan under Flick's new scheme of play is not going to be as important next season. You add to that the fact that Gundogan is one of the highest earners on the squad. And Barcelona are going to have to offload players in order to make space on their wage bill to register the incoming ones. So therefore, given that Gundogan is not going to be as important next season, and given that Gundogan's salary is incredibly high and removing it from the wage bill would be a huge help for Barcelona as far as financial fair play, Flick wants to sit down with the player, have a face-to-face, and discuss the player's future plans. Now, for now, Gundogan is now planning to leave. He wants to stay in Barcelona. He's made it very, very clear. We'll see what happens after this conversation. He is set to come back to the club at the end of July from vacation. Looks like Flick wants to have the conversation before, maybe over the phone, maybe over Zoom, etc. We'll see what transpires. Of course, I'll let you know as soon as we have news. But for now, Flick wants to have a conversation with Gundogan to see what's going to happen. Now, I think, in my opinion, losing Gundogan would be a huge loss. I think Gundogan was probably our best midfielder last season, but I also understand the concern that he is older and perhaps the demands of Flick might be a little bit too much for him, especially as a starter. Maybe as a sub, he'll be fine, but he does have a pretty high salary to have him as a sub. Now, of course, they're saying Pedri, Gavi, Fermin, those are the ones who are going to have more protagonism on the field, given that they are much younger and given that they are those kind of midfielders that can cover a lot of ground. They play with a lot of intensity. As such, kind of relegating Gundogan more to the back line. All right, let's get back to the chat section. That was all the news, so we'll do a lot more comments and then we will end this. But let's see. What is everyone saying? Liam says Rodri for Ballon d'Or, EPL and Euro. Okay. I wouldn't mind that. I think Rodri has had an incredible seasons for the past, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 seasons. And I think it would be very much well-deserved, but I just don't see what is the magazine called? Whatever the hell that magazine called that organizes the Ballon d'Or. I don't see them giving it to Rodri. I think the Real Madrid marketing machine is just unparalleled. And to try to put Rodri ahead of someone like Vinicius, who won the Champions League, is going to be very difficult. But the Euros does have a lot of weight. So, I don't know. I would give it to Rodri. Joshua says, hi, Mo. I'm Joshua from Liberia. Please send me the details about the bet us because I win from it. I don't know how to withdraw the money. That's not something I can help you with, my friend. You would have to reach out to Bet Us through their customer support with a chat, phone, email, etc. That's not something I can help you with. All right, let's see. Not the Gamer says, hey, Mo, what is it with everyone calling for Gundo's departure? Yes, he's old, but he's got much. Jay last season, and he could play anywhere in Flick's midfield, i.e. as 10-8 on double pivot. I like Gundo. I like Gundo a lot. I think he was our best midfielder last season, but, if Flick decides that maybe Gundo does not have what it takes in his legs as far as gas to keep up with the intensity that Flick is going to demand, that's a coach's call. I'm not a coach. I cannot speak for Flick. All right, let's see. Kino says, how is our right back Julian Araujo impressing in training with Flick? I hear about Fati and Gavi. How is Julian Araujo in the training? You have news on him? No news on Julian. We know that he's going to, have a shot the entire preseason. He's going to travel with the team to the US. We'll see. We'll see. Suleiman says, hi, Mo. Actually wish Araujo, Frankie, Gabby, and Pedri a speedy recovery for all of them to join the team sooner. Amen, my friend. I wish them a speedy recovery as well. Valerian says, Spain had a good balance of players from Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Real Sociedad. Let me see. They had 4 from Barcelona. From Madrid, I think they only had 2, right? Carvajal and Nacho. Real Sociedad, they had Subimendi, Merino. What else did they have from Real Sociedad? I think it was the most represented club. I think it was Barcelona. I could be wrong, but I think it was. Ross says, how fast can we get Nico? Like a week or 2 or 3 as to sign him on FIFA in 2.5 minutes. Man, you need to hit up Barcelona and be like, yo, this is how you do a signing. How fast? That's all going to depend on how fast we can clear our financial fair play. We know that Nico wants to finalize his future by the end of July, beginning of August. Barcelona have until then. So Barcelona are going to have to be very quick about closing the Nike deal, the Barca Vision deal, or both really soon. So time is definitely ticking for Barcelona. And we have a donation, Angry Sparky, another donation says, Gundogan needs to stay and be given captaincy. I think so too. I think even if Flick doesn't believe that Gundogan can play full 90 minutes, I think even as a sub would be a great option. But, you know, unfortunately, because his salary is so high and Barcelona need to clear space on their wage bill, it is a conversation that they need to have with Gundo, more out of necessity really than out of want, because unfortunately that's where we are, you know. Let's see, one more and then we will end the live stream. But Colin says, Rodri deserves the Ballon d'Or. He's been consistent for years. Trebel last year, EPL and Euros now. He's been the best midfielder, no doubt. I agree 100%, but of course, the Ballon d'Or is based only on last season, not on previous ones. And, you know, last season, again, having missed out on the Champions League, that's probably going to hurt him. I would give it to him because I think the Euros is just as important as the Champions League, if not a little bit more. Plus, he won the Premier League, which is a much more difficult league to win than La Liga. So, in my opinion, what Rodri has done outweighs by a little bit what Vini has done. But when it comes, again, to the Real Madrid marketing machine, there's just no like it. All right, that is all, my friends. Thank you for tuning in. You guys are the best. Thank you for your comments, subscriptions, donations, likes, all of it. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.